Hell's Angels biker was falsely accused until a little girl speaks up and changed everything. In the quiet town of Prescott, Arizona, where dusty roads meet pine-covered hills, first impressions can be as unforgiving as the desert sun. For Blake Morgan, a rugged man with inked arms, a leather vest, and the deep rumble of his Harley echoing through Main Street, those impressions had long defined him. A former Hell's Angel trying to rebuild his life, Blake kept to himself, working odd jobs and volunteering at the local veterans shelter. But on one ordinary Tuesday afternoon, everything changed. It started at Cunningham's Hardware. Blake needed a new socket wrench for a charity bike repair event his club was hosting for underprivileged kids. As he browsed the tool aisle, he noticed a man in a blue jacket and a baseball cap lingering near the electronics section. Something about the way the man glanced over his shoulder made Blake uneasy, but before he could say anything, chaos erupted. "Stop right there," shouted Mr. Robert Cunningham, the store owner, pointing an accusing finger at Blake. "You stole that $400 multimeter." Officer Owens arrived within minutes. Without asking questions, without even checking Blake's empty hands, he was cuffed and led away, the stares of townsfolk burning into his back. All because of his tattoos, all because of his bike, all because people saw a biker and assumed the worst. Inside the interrogation room, Blake pleaded his innocence. "There was another man," he insisted, voice steady despite the injustice tightening around his chest. "Blue jacket, baseball cap. He was acting strange." Detective Chen reviewed the security footage with skepticism. The grainy video showed only 4 people in the store: Blake, an elderly woman named Wendy Fisher, Nancy Patterson, and her 8-year-old daughter Lily, who'd been quietly reading Matilda in the corner. "No one else appears on camera," Officer Owens said dismissively. "Face it, Blake, you're caught." But outside the precinct, Lily couldn't sleep. She'd seen everything. While her mother chatted with Mrs. Fisher, Lily had looked up from her book just in time to see the man in the blue jacket slip the multimeter into his coat. And then she watched in horror as Mr. Cunningham pointed at Blake instead. "He didn't do it," Lily told her mom that night, eyes wide with urgency. "Sweetheart, you were reading," Nancy sighed. "You probably imagined it." But Lily knew what she saw, and she wouldn't stay silent. The next morning, she marched into the police station alone, clutching her well-worn copy of Matilda. "I need to talk to Detective Chen," she announced, voice trembling but determined. Impressed by the girl's conviction, Detective Chen listened, really listened. Lily described the thief in vivid detail, the frayed edge of his jacket sleeve, the way he tapped his fingers nervously on the shelf, the logo on his cap, a faded eagle. Something clicked. Chen re-examined the security footage, not just the images, but the file itself. She called in a tech specialist who discovered something chilling, a 40-second gap in the recording. Someone had edited the tape. Digging deeper, Chen uncovered Robert Cunningham's mounting debts, gambling losses, overdue loans, a failing business. And then there was Derek Yates, the assistant manager, who'd recently purchased a brand new pickup truck, despite earning minimum wage. Confronted with the evidence, Derek cracked. "I needed the money," he confessed, head in his hands. "I took the multimeter, sold it online. I cut that part of the footage so no one would see me. I thought they'd blame the biker." The truth exploded like thunder over Prescott. Blake was released that same day, his record cleared, his name restored. At the press conference, Detective Chen stood beside him, her voice thick with regret. "I let my assumptions blind me," she admitted, "but a child's courage reminded us all that justice doesn't wear a uniform, it wears honesty." A week later, Blake knocked on the Pattersons' door, holding a handcrafted oak bookshelf. "For Lily," he said softly, "so she always has a place for her stories and for speaking truth." Lily ran to him, wrapping her small arms around his waist. "I knew you were good," she whispered. That moment rippled through the town. Locals who once crossed the street to avoid Blake now nodded in respect.
His motorcycle club launched a youth mentorship program, teaching kids about engines, integrity, and second chances. Even Mr. Cunningham, disgraced and bankrupt, sent a handwritten apology from jail. Years later, the story became legend in Prescott, a tale told at school assemblies and community gatherings, not just about theft or false accusation, but about the power of one's small voice refusing to be silenced. Because sometimes the bravest thing in the world isn't a roar, it's a whisper from an 8-year-old girl who dared to say, "He didn't do it." And sometimes redemption doesn't come from grand gestures, but from a simple act of belief. Today, Blake still rides his Harley through the Arizona hills, but now children wave at him from their bikes. He smiles, knowing that while the road ahead may be long, it's paved with understanding, grace, and the quiet courage of a little girl who saw not a biker, but a human being. If this story moved you, please like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us bring more tales of hope, humanity, and second chances to millions around the world. And don't forget, tell us in the comments where you're watching from, because kindness knows no borders. Thanks for watching.